Okay, let's see.
I feel like a James Comey. You know who he is, right?
Yeah. No.
Former director of FBI.
Okay, let's see. So, all right. I'm just gonna go in order.
Okay.
Okay, so you were born in Tokyo in 1938.
May 10th, yeah.
All right, and then you briefly went back to Seattle.
1 year.
One year.
I was one.
All right, you don't remember that obviously that well, except the loud noise. And then you
Not
went
except the noise, yeah.
then you came back to Tokyo again before you went to
Probably-
Darien in 1941.
Yeah, well, Irene was older than me, but Tokyo, I was born. So probably a short time in Japan, I'm just guessing, because I was in Manchuria. Roy had a job as an engineer in Manchuria.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be 1940, or certainly before the war.
Do you remember where in Tokyo you guys were living? I mean, you won't remember, but do you know where in Tokyo? Was
Well, I would think
Shinokubo?
that's for the Hajime-san or
So
Nakagawa.
Shinokubo, right? Near Shibuya or Shinjuku. It's like I think that's where
I think it may be Asakusa, but there's a name for it. Let's see. Well, near Shibuya anyway. That's where I was born.
Yeah, you were
That's
born
where
in
they
a
live.
hospital near there.
And we lived in the rented
Oh yeah.
house with the Dr. Osawa Ichiro.
You live with Dr. Osawa?
Well, yeah. Well, I lived with, but then rented a place that's owned by Osawa Ichiro. You know who that is, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, because I have your what's your birth certificate, and it says where you were born. Let's see.
Near Shibuya.
Yeah, it's like Shinokubo or something like that.
Yeah, a little different though. Let me see. I never went back there to see, but I heard of it a few times.
Oh, here you
I'll
are.
let you know when I get there.
Yeah, it's you were born at the Japanese Red Cross Hospital in Shibuya.
Right.
And your address is 131 Shoan Kitamachi, Suginami-ku.
Suginami.
Okay. Suginami-ku doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yes, it does. I spoke to a guy who came from there.
Yeah?
The courthouse. Yeah.
Oh, but they renamed
Suginami
everything though in
They
Tokyo.
may
It's
have.
all
but
Choans now, the Chome.
I think they may still have kept the Suginami though, because this guy was from Suginami district in
Okay.
Tokyo, near Shinjuku. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Near
Shibuya.
Shibuya. Yeah.
Yeah. So your doctor is Dr. Suzuki.
Oh,
That's what it says here.
I didn't know that.
On
Yeah.
your certificate.
Suzuki, by the way, is the most common name in Japan.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so then you went to Darien in 1941, and you stayed there till 1947.
I would say spring of 1947, calculating. I know we weren't there more than 2 years, so it was spring of 1947. Landed in Sasebo, Sasebo.
And so, okay, so let's go into detail of anything you remember from. Do you remember moving to Darien, or you were too young?
No.
Okay, you're too young. What did you first remember when you were there?
I mean, Darien?
Yeah. Because you would have been 3 years old till 9,
Yeah.
maybe. You lived there from like 3 to 9 years old. 1941 to 1947, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you remember? Do you remember anything?
Any memory of things?
Darien, yeah.
The island, only thing I remember is something indoors, like Roy was into a lot of gadgets, I mean, engineer, I guess. And he was tinkering with the electricity to catch a bird, sparrow, might say. And he was, I don't know if he did catch it, but then Roy is was out of the house in the business trip most of the time, and from what I hear, she went to like maybe Beijing or some other place where the Japanese companies were trying to establish in China, I would think. And one thing I remember is he prepared soybeans, okay, cocoa soybeans,
Yeah.
and then he would put it in wrap it in the some kind of the material, probably rice straws or something,
Yeah.
and then ferment it by putting it in the stove wintertime. So stove. What I mean is you put a stove,
Wood.
the wood or coal or whatever, and then to make us fermented soybeans, which is natto.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was into that. I recall that.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead. What?
Well, here and there, I might be jumping around.
Describe
but,
the house. Describe.
Oh, the house, all I could recall is that it was one of the very few concrete building house. It was the house owned by the Japanese company Roy worked for. And during the wartime with the air raids, you need a place for the safest place. And there was so all the whole bunch of neighbors came down into the basement of the house, and probably 30, 40 people, yeah. Other than that.
So is it
yeah.
2-story, 1-story?
I would say at least 3-story.
3-story house, all to yourself, all to your family.
Just about, yeah.
And didn't you have maids or servants or anything?
Yeah, we had the maids come in and Chinese national come in to make, because they're dirt cheap,
So you hired them yourself?
Not myself, but then Roy Fumi, yeah.
Yeah, Roy Fumi hired them.
Yeah.
To do what? What did they come
Whatever-
every day,
whatever-
or they
whatever-
come?
Just about every day, maybe even live in,
Well, so you were, I don't know what year you remember it, but you were from 3 to 9, so it's a long range. But did they
Yeah.
babysit you? Did they make your food? Did
All
they do
the days
laundry?
I do walking around, but when the Roy Fumi was gone, they would, it was said by President Stanley, Secretary harassed me.
They would?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, what would they
All I
do?
could recall is some stinking shit because put me around her pubic area, the maid's pubic area. Yeah.
The maid stuck your face in her pubic area?
One of the area anyway.
How old was the maid, or do you remember her name?
I wouldn't know the name. They call them kunyang.
Okay.
Kunyang means maid in Chinese, I guess. Yeah.
They didn't speak Japanese, right?
Not other than konnichiwa or something. I don't know. They must have spoke some, otherwise Fumi won't be able to communicate with them.
So Roy had his job with the engineering company, is that right?
Apparently, yeah. He was specialty was air conditioning heating.
Yeah.
You can't. People couldn't afford air conditioning, but heating, the expertise was probably very much in demand over there. Cold Manchuria. It's like cold as Alaska, that northern part, near Siberia.
Hmm.
Yeah, northeastern part of China.
So, what did Fumi do? Did she stay home most of the time? Or?
Oh yeah, she didn't work outside, nothing like that. No.
So is there a town? Is there a main part of town? Were you living in it? You have to walk a long way to get there? You take a train?
Dairen, D-A-I-R-E-N, Dairen.
Yeah.
And we went there several years ago. Yeah, it's a very thriving city, and right by the beach.
Is that where you live, right by the beach?
I don't think so, not right by the beach, but then it was in walking distance to the Buddhist temple, which I saw several years ago. We went there, and that was the location of the elementary school. Yeah.
So, do you remember going to school there? You remember
Yeah,
you had
first grade,
friends?
first school.
First grade, second grade,
First
third
grade, entrance party in Japan, they went from not the kindergarten like U.S., but first grade, I think. And on the way to school, I heard a huge scream. And I just took in there. Apparently, the military police have beaten up on the Chinese for what? shoplifting or whatever, and I saw that atrocities right there.
Okay, so you're the enemy people,
Oh
basically.
yeah. Oh no, no two
But-
ways
and you were a
about it.
rich enemy person. You were, well, you worked for a big Japanese company and had a nice house.
Yeah.
So you would have been a target. They would have like. Did
Oh,
you get
yeah.
robbed at all? You never got robbed or.
Well, the whole house was robbed after the war.
No,
That
no,
is,
like before that. No, nothing ever happened.
nothing ever happened to get robbed that I heard. Oh, I know that neighbors were very wealthy neighbors, Japanese neighbors.
Well, did you know you were rich? Did you feel like it?
Oh, you have no concept of being wealthy. No, you know, no, we were not rich in the sense like a billionaire here,
Yeah.
but we had a job.
Okay.
You know, then you're okay. You know, that's all you
Okay.
could do.
So you never had any. You always had a lot of food at first, and
Yeah, during the war.
Did you have your
during
own
the war.
room?
I would think so. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't. You didn't stay in the same room as
Well,
Kathy, or.
I didn't have a concept of this is the bedroom or that room.
Well,
know.
did you stay in the same room altogether, or did you have, Roy and Fumi had a room, and you had one, and Irene had one, and Kathy had one, or do you remember this?
I don't have independent recollection of a separate room for everybody, but it was apparently a big building.
Well, describe it, all right? So it's 3 floors. You walk in the front door, right? Is there a backyard? Is there a garden? Is
No
there
yard. There's no
just the
yard.
door? You walk in.
Yeah.
It's built like a Japanese style, right? You take off
Yeah.
your shoes, and then what? There's a front room, or what is it?
Front room and the basement. That's what became a bomb shelter.
Okay, but
The whole neighbor.
where's the kitchen? The kitchen's on the first floor, right?
Apparently, yeah.
You don't remember though?
No, I don't have recollection.
You don't remember what's on the second floor and the third floor?
Third floor, but I know the okujo, they call it the rooftop, top of the roof,
Yeah.
where the electrical wire was going through, and that's why Roy tried to catch it, with his gadget, tried to catch some of the sparrows, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. You don't remember what floor you slept on? First, second, or third?
No,
You don't remember at all. Okay.
no.
You're pretty young then. Okay, so
I remember things when there's something unusual things that happen. I remember. Yeah, I guess.
do you remember how long it took you to when you walked to school? Did you go with a bunch of other people? Did it take a long time, or you walked to school?
To
Right?
school, probably at least only about 200-300 yards away, I would say.
It's not bad.
Walking by myself because then I heard a scream in beyond the pathway, you might say,
Yeah.
and looked at it. Apparently, this Japanese person in uniform beating up on somebody, kicking, and screaming.
Uh huh. Okay. So you went to school there. What? First grade to what? Do you remember?
Oh, essentially, we didn't go to school at all.
You
Went
didn't?
a couple of days, that's it, and then it was too dangerous. I think they disbanded the school.
It was too dangerous.
Well, we were just it's like we were like Japanese were only the families of the occupation force. Japanese occupied them.
Okay.
Japanese army and navy, etc., occupied the place, and then we were the families of those people who were Japanese companies.
So everyone around you was Chinese.
I would say my guess would be like 90% Chinese, yeah. Other than the Kunyan maids and then a few other people,
So, did you say Oji-chan was gone most of the time? His job made him travel?
Yeah, gone, the
how
travel, the
long?
Beijing, weeks at a time, I would say.
Was he gone half the time you were living, or he just go on a couple week
I
trips?
can't remember how many percent, but he was gone most of the time, yeah. Because, well, only a few times I remember Roy being together with Roy is when he would have get a little comforter and he pulls out, and then that's a lion, and you pull out and then you kill the lion or something like that, so that kind of things I remember being with Roy.
Okay, so you were pretty young then. So
Oh yeah.
Um,
I'm not so sure we were there. Certainly we were there. The September 7th, 1941 was the Pearl Harbor attack. Okay, I think things have changed before that, and I think we were there way before that. We were in the United States by 1939
yeah.
for 1 month or less or more.
Okay.
Then back to Japan exactly when we went back. Or we probably went there where the Hajime-san were near Kamakura area. But Hajime-san moved around here too until we came evacuated from Manchuria. We got a lot of help from Hajime-san.
Yeah.
We lived in the Kamakura area. Yeah. And we were set up for room upstairs, a stinking fish market, fish store.
Oh, yeah.
Hajime-san found us the place to stay there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you got back from Sasebo,
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. Sasebo was just a landing place for the boat.
You
It's
don't-
not a
you-
massive boat. It's a
you didn't
fishing
stay there at all, right? In Sasebo,
Sasebo-
you just,
oh, no,
you just
no.
went landed and then you got on a train and went straight to
Straight
Tokyo
to-
or Yokohama or where?
I'm not so sure Tokyo, Yokohama, but one of those two major cities. Yeah.
Okay. It's not you didn't stop somewhere like a long time, like Osaka or Kyoto.
No, no,
Okay.
no.
You remember this. This is something you remember, right? You remember riding the
Yeah.
train?
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like an old train, a nice, crappy, or how'd you sleep? Because did you go in one day from Sasebo to Tokyo, or must have taken a while?
Yeah, taken a while, not days, but probably 1-2 days at most. Yeah,
Okay. You slept on the train then?
must have. I don't have independent.
You don't remember if it was uncomfortable,
Oh
hot?
yeah, it was a beat up old train. I'm sure. You know,
Okay.
chuk long. Yeah.
Well, let's quickly go back to Daiden first. Okay, so do you remember when the war ended?
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
essentially.
There's a radio or something, or who
Yeah.
told you what?
The military occupational for Japanese force or police department, whatever, gathered all of us to be in front of the table with a big tablecloth radio to listen to the emperor's speech.
Oh,
That this was the August 16th, 1941. 45.
yeah.
I didn't know what the hell he was saying. Not most people didn't know it was a Chinwa. All I know is a Chinwa. That means I am something, you know. And say, who the hell is that? Nobody ever heard of an emperor speaking.
Yeah.
And people start crying because that was pre-warned that was the emperor speaking to surrender. And for a lot of Japanese people, that was the end of the World War II for Japan.
Okay.
But other people consider, some Americans don't consider that because September 2nd, with the MacArthur and his group called the Japanese official to aboard the USS Missouri,
Right.
the huge aircraft carrier, battleship. And so, for most Japanese, September 16th, but many Americans, September 2nd is for Japanese, correction, and August 16th is the official ending with the emperor saying, we surrender.
Okay, so when that happened, what happened with your life in Daiden? Were you scared? Were you freaked out? Because now
Well,
you're
we have no idea, but we had a lot of cats and dogs in the neighborhood, you know.
yeah.
We didn't see any of that anymore. My guess is they would have been caught and eaten. We had no food. We had no source of food.
Well, where did you get food before? You go to a market or?
Market and market or market.
Run by
I suppose.
Chinese people or Japanese
Well,
people?
during the war, it was mostly by Chinese workers, but supplies of food they were abundant before the war. Now during the war even, but after the war, we went to the market. Independent recollect, Fumi got they were measuring the way they measure is they have this